What's up, nerds? It's Rick Swift of the Film Grouch Show, and I wanted to welcome everybody to a very special episode of the Film Grouch Show. Today I'm joined by my wife, Madison.
What up?
And for the very first time ever, my son, Raphael. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, Raphael.
Hi there.
Alright, before we get started, I just want to say there's going to be spoilers throughout this review. This is going to be a review where we're assuming that you have already seen the movie and you want to just kind of hear what we have to say. Or you really don't care about spoilers because we're going to get into major spoilers. Again, the assumption is that you have seen this movie and you want to have, an experience with people that have seen it and enjoyed it and have just kind of been immersed with all the MCU stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and let my son, Raphael, talk about the plot, and go ahead and take it, Raph.
Okay, so the plot about the movie is to undo what Thanos did. Just to, reverse legendary snap. Just snap people back into existence. And just make sure that Thanos, whatever he did does not happen. And so in the beginning of the story, Iron Man and Nebula are stuck on the ship, the Star-Lord ship, playing a little game. And then Iron Man makes a recording, hoping that his wife will get to see it and doesn't post it on something. Can't remember. And then they finally get back, and then Rocket, he tracks down where Thanos is by tracking an energy signature as big as the legendary snap itself. So once they finally got to the planet, Thanos, he said that power surge was because he destroyed the Infinity Stones, so they couldn't be used to do something else. And then Thor aims for the head.
He does.
By decapitating him.
Yes, he does. So, okay, that's pretty much how the movie starts, and that gets into how the Avengers, again, this is the initial Avengers, the core Avengers are the ones that kind of didn't get snapped. And
the core Avengers plus Rocket and Nebula.
And also Ant-Man.
No, yeah. Ant-Man's not back yet.
Yeah, he's not back yet, but he wasn't legendary snapped away.
But are those Avengers or are they Guardians? It gets a little hazy when you start talking. There's the expanded Avengers, and then there's the core Avengers. Well,
it's the core Avengers plus those
side
remaining
Avengers.
Guardians.
Yes. So they basically... but then they have a little help from, Captain Better Than Tom Cruise, who decides to, let's just go kill him. That was my...
Oh, wait, we forgot.
Oh.
There was one other guy left.
Oh,
War Machine.
Yeah, my least favorite.
Yeah, War Machine came along too.
He's my favorite character. One of them. Iron Man is my favorite.
The house divided right here.
Yeah.
Interesting, though, Iron Man did not join them on the journey to take out Thanos.
Well, yeah, because he was convalescing. He was, I guess, maybe Robert Downey Jr., either he lost a lot of weight, or they did that trick like they did in the first Avenger with Chris Evans, where they just used some skinny guy. But yeah, he was messed up because they were floating around in space, like Raph said. They were floating around in space
for almost a month.
For 21 days, because I think he said at one point it's been 21 days or something, and they were eating potato chips out of some weird space bag.
Yeah, and it also said that tomorrow oxygen would run out, and that's when they saw Captain Marvel, who flew them back down to Earth.
Yeah, that was nice of her.
Yeah, I don't know how she found them, but she somehow found them.
I think they sent out a distress signal.
It was Nick Fury's page. And they showed at the end of Captain Marvel something where... Didn't she, appear with Thor or whatever?
She came back, and she's like, "Where's Nick?"
Yeah. Where's Nick Fury?
That's right. Mm-hmm. So she somehow found Iron Man and Nebula floating out there.
Oh, she was probably doing what she was doing for all those other months, trying to help everyone who was hurt by the legendary snap.
Okay.
Yeah, because at one point in the movie, she does say there are other planets besides Earth that I have to. They don't have Avengers, They don't have you guys, so they need a me. Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Okay,
so they take off Thanos' head.
Yep.
The end of the whole story. No, not really.
That's just the beginning.
So then what happens?
So then it's 5 years later. Everything's just wrong. It's
Hang on a second.
something wrong.
Okay, so we get to the, like you just said, what is it?
5 years later.
Yeah, seriously, it was like everybody almost said, well, not in our
It's like
screening.
everyone was like the Earth had nobody left. But yeah, there's people.
Well, half of everything was gone.
Yeah, and people were just so despaired. It just looked like the apocalypse happened and no one was there.
Well, it was like the Rapture, which, if you've ever watched Left Behind, it's similar to that. People just kind of fade away, and it's kind of interesting how, like when Nick Fury sees at the end of Infinity War, he sees the chopper kind of spinning out of control because the pilot just disappeared. So that's kind of what would happen if all these things just stopped being manned by people immediately. So it was interesting because then it shows the 5 years later, and you see like a support group, and I guess I'll let you talk about the thing that, well, you said that apparently one of the Russo brothers is in that scene.
Yes, director's cameo.
Yeah, and he's giving a moment about like how they're all coping with everything that's going on, and I guess Captain America is the head of that support group. It was similar to when Falcon had the support group in Winter Soldier. Yeah. Again, it's 5 years later, and there's this kind of odd team, which they never really declare what Black Widow's title or role is or anything like that, but it doesn't seem like there's any government left. It's just kind of like a bunch of loose, affiliations where people are just trying to get by and deal with the fact that half of the world is gone. So you see that she has organized people from around the universe, really, because she has Rocket in some places, and you have Captain Marvel, even Nebula so they're like all in these different little areas, and I guess even War Machine was one of them.
War Machine and the one that was left from Wakanda.
Oh yeah,
that little
Michonne,
the king of
yes.
the strongest warrior defender person.
Yeah, the security.
Yes.
The security chief for
yes.
Black Panther. So they're all kind of going around and trying to make the world as best they can with what is left behind. And then
Ant-Man comes back from
Yeah,
the quantum realm. And if you stayed to watch the end of Ant-Man and Wasp, you know what we're talking about.
yes, the back of the van scene where, and it's funny how he ends up coming back. It actually is one of those convenient things that writers do sometimes where it's like, well, there's a billion different ways that we could bring him back. Let's just have a rat walk across this panel and set off the panel that actually activates the quantum ejector or whatever.
Portal.
Yeah, and then he gets ejected back into our world, and now it's 5 years later, and it's interesting because he almost becomes like the audience in the sense of he doesn't know anything that's happened in the last 5 years, and he's walking around aimlessly trying to figure out what's going on. And he sees like all these monuments to all these people that were snapped, I guess is the
vanished.
Vanished.
They called them.
Oh, the vanished. I like snapped. I like that. The snapped.
But nobody else knows why except for whoever was there in person.
I hope it's one of those things that they explained. I think maybe in the support group they talked about like what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, if Captain America's running it, I'd be like, hey, by the way, guys, this is what happened. We fought this crazy space guy, and he just snapped away half of the world.
He killed a bunch of people to get these 6 stones.
Yeah.
And then he said, if I snap my fingers, half of the universe will be gone.
Who's gonna believe that?
After you see New York, and after you see all the other stuff, like if you're just some
Everyone?
guy, if you're just
I
like
guess
us,
so.
like if you're just us working, like where we work, and all of a sudden,
in that universe.
yeah, if you're in that, you remember they had that show with was it not Selena? Vanessa Hudgens, yeah, and Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Which we kind of liked that. It wasn't bad.
No,
It was a little ridiculous, but they were like normal people living in like a superhero world, and they had to deal with like traffic and all the other kind of crap that you'd have to deal with.
Yes.
So yeah, I would hope that they would know, and I think a couple citizens mentioned something like after Thanos or something with Thanos, but I'd have to see it again.
They knew about Thanos from somebody told them, I guess.
Well, you're gonna go see it again like next week, so
Yes, I am.
just keep your eye out for that, I guess.
I'll keep my eyes peeled.
Your ears peeled, your eyes peeled, whatever.
Keep your ears open wide.
So now that Ant-Man is back, he's kind of like, hey guys, I have this crazy idea. We're going to do a time heist. And they're all kind of like, are you out of your mind? It's not going to work. It's crazy. Because when Thanos destroyed the Infinity Stones, he busted them into atoms, atomic dust or whatever, so they were gone forever. But he's like, but not throughout time. And they made a bunch of jokes about like Back to the Future, and then they made
Time Machine.
Yeah, Hot Tub.
All these movies.
Yes, all the different movies that have time travel.
Something you can watch when you're older.
Okay.
Oh, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've heard popular MMOs talk about it.
It's
They're like, it's a hot tub time machine when they got a hot tub drop from a.
It's kind of ridiculous. The concept is that there's this hot tub at some resort, and it's actually a time machine. It makes no sense. It's just one of these convenient devices that the writers use to get the people to travel through time, and it's kind of like, it's funny on its own.
I'm laughing right now.
Yeah.
So, and then they talk about Back to the Future, which is one of my favorite movies, and then they...
Wait, that's one of your favorite movies?
Yes, it is.
And then,
shocking.
I didn't know that about you.
And then they say that that may not be the rules that, like, apply to this time. Like, Back to the Future is just a lie.
Which is what I always base all my time travel rules on, so yes, this movie confused me with the time traveling, but anyways.
Oh yeah, so there's definitely time travel in this movie, too?
A lot of it.
And again, you've already seen it if you're listening, or you don't care to be spoiled, so yeah.
Yeah, you just want all those spoilers.
Yeah, so you know that the time travel stuff, and it was funny when we got home from the movie, I was like, so is this person really gone, and is there a way for them? I was trying to think of all the different like time loopholes that could bring certain people back.
Draw a picture.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and okay, this was something I thought they were going to do in the movie, and then they didn't. Going back to, it's now 5 years later, they have this time heist idea. They decide to approach Tony, obviously, because he's a friggin' super genius, and he's got a kid, and his kid is like 5 years old, obviously. I'm thinking, wait, if they undo everything, he's going to lose that kid. So he has a motivation now, and he made it clear, like, I'm not losing my kid.
Yes.
And then Ant-Man actually finds his daughter 5 years later, and she's older, obviously.
A teen.
Yeah, she's like a teen. But we all kind of think she got, like, a lot older than she should have, but I don't know. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but it was kind of like, she's pretty tall. Aging. Yeah, right?
Like maybe they do in all the sitcoms.
Yeah, like where somebody goes up the stairs and comes back down as a different actor.
No, like one season they're a baby, and then the next season they're in high school.
Oh, okay.
Like they did with Growing Pains or whatever. Any hoots. So, going back to, Ant-Man wants to do the time heist and restore everybody. So they have to get whoever's remaining back together. So, everyone who Black Widow is still in contact with, she sends them out to retrieve the rest of the team. And this is where the fun begins. Mm-hmm. So, who do they go and fetch?
They fetch a hot guy who now...
Thor. Yeah. I was like, where are you going with this? Yeah, that's right. They go... I thought it was kind of cool because I've been to Tromso, and so I got to see Tromso, and it's like New Asgard, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And he's like the king of New Asgard.
It said, welcome to New Asgard. Please drive slowly. And we're reunited with Valkyrie, which was awesome.
Yeah, I was happy to see Valkyrie.
Yeah, you know what I thought was the weirdest? How they're playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
Playing Fortnite, getting beer, and just Fat Thor just being fat.
God.
And Korg,
the god of fatness. He's now god of fatness.
Yes, Korg and Meek were back, so I was very happy to see they didn't get snapped. Yes. Thank you very much.
And Thor just really let himself go. He is definitely the god of fatness now.
Oh my goodness. He is the...
fatness galore.
Hilarious.
So, you're...
He's the size of...
we talk about...
He's the size of
So
Thanos.
my mom just loves Thor.
Oh my god.
And I cannot wait to take her to see this and see what she thinks of Fat Thor.
It is going
to be hilarious.
Pretty epic. So they eventually convince Fat Thor to join the team.
Yes.
It's Rocket and...
Nebula?
It's Nebula and Rocket that go to get him?
No, it's Hulk.
No, it wouldn't be Rocket.
It was Rocket.
It was Hulk. Yeah, it was Hulk.
Rocket. Okay, so
we need to talk about Hulk.
First.
We need to talk about Hulk.
Okay, so Ant-Man, Black Widow, and Cap, I think, went to get Hulk. And Hulk is all different now.
He's smart Hulk.
Yes.
He's Bruce Banner, but he has, like, the strength of Hulk, and he's green, and he's, like, super famous.
And he's really nerdy.
Very nerdy.
He said that
weird, and they both live peacefully with each other.
Yeah, and he said, well, why don't I combine the brains with the bronze?
Yeah, so he's very smuggy, and they're having this lunch, and these kids come up and they want their picture with him, and he's all smuggy with them. And then Ant-Man's like, oh, do you want your picture with me? I'm Ant-Man. And they're like, no. And this whole, like...
It's like 5 minutes. That's one of those... That's one of those...
awkward, but it was pretty funny, but Hulk was so smuggy.
Is that one of those moments where people could pee, maybe?
Yes, that was definitely a moment when you can go pee.
Oh, okay, so we have to talk about this. One of my friends at work sent us a link, and I didn't even look at the link. I didn't even send a thank you or anything. I made my wife do it. Because he sent this link, and he's like...
It popped up for me when I was in the middle of a meeting, so everyone that was in the meeting saw this pop-up that said, Endgame pee break.
It's awesome.
Well, so luckily everyone knew what I was doing, because I was announcing it to everyone.
Yeah.
But...
Well, we're famous.
Yes.
So, my question is, what were the moments that they mentioned?
The moments that the article mentioned was when San Francisco, because it was basically Ant-Man piecing together everything. Yeah,
and like I said, that was kind of the audience.
Yeah. It was when the Hulk was having his lunch.
Yeah.
Which we just talked about.
But that was funny, though. There's some funny moments.
Funny. It's like, but you don't want to take a picture of them? No? It
was cheesy funny, and that's what they said.
Yeah.
And then another part, which I kind of disagree with, but they said this is your last moment because you do not want to go pee for the last hour of the movie.
Right, you told me that. You told me that even though, I was like, don't tell me, but you were like, they said the last hour, don't pee.
Don't want to miss it. So your last chance was when they go to New Jersey. But I wouldn't want to miss any of that. We'll get to that. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Do not take potty breaks during the movie.
I mean, if you gotta go, you gotta go, but...
Right.
Yeah, but not any of the important scenes.
Yeah, I mean, look, 3 hours is not that long. 4 hours... Now we're talking, we need an intermission. But 3 hours, come on, people. We can handle that. And I just didn't drink anything like the last hour before the movie came out. And I got some Skittles. And anytime I got thirsty, I just kind of ate some Skittles. I was fine.
Just toss some Skittles in there.
Yeah.
Get some Skittles.
3 hours to be able to handle it.
In there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. So we've got Smart Hulk, we got Thor. Who else did they need to get?
Well, they had to get Rocket, and
they already had. Oh yeah, they called back Rocket.
Yeah, to help get back Thor.
Oh, we've got to talk about the time heist. We've got to talk about the stones and where they ended up getting the stones.
Yeah. Right. So then they have to
their
decide.
plan.
Yeah.
So there's 3 in New York, 1 in Asgard, 1 on Vormir, and I can't remember the last one.
Morag.
Yeah, Morag.
Yeah. So they study. They make all these flow charts and pie graphs and charts and this, that, and the other timelines, and they finally decide who's going to go where.
Yeah, and also don't forget to mention that Iron Man made the process to go back in time.
Yes.
And they made it a steady flow so that, the alternate dimensions wouldn't happen.
Yes.
On that course, so they can do the thing.
And there was also quite a bit of testing, which was very funny, with Ant-Man and things of that
Clint.
nature. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And how can we forget about Hawkeye?
Yeah, he starts the movie.
He uses a sword.
Hawkeye,
he starts
too.
the whole movie.
Yes.
Who now uses a sword.
He uses a sword along with his...
Well, he's got a new name now. He's Ronin, you said.
Yes, Ronin.
Which is a fallen samurai, I believe.
Yes.
So, and it's kind of interesting because, after my dad passed away, I remember being, I'd see people and I'd be, angry that they got to live and, my dad was gone. And that's what happens with Ronin. He becomes just angry at all these people that got to live. He's like, why did this person get to not die when his entire family died? So, the scene where he's hunting down the Yakuza guy is like, I don't even know you. I didn't even... And he's like, I don't care. I don't care. You're a bad guy.
You survived the legendary snap.
Exactly. So you gotta die because you're a jerk, and I don't care. I'm gonna kill you.
You hurt people. You hurt people after Thanos.
Right. So he's really dark. He goes super dark, and he becomes a totally different character. He's no longer Hawkeye. Yeah, he's just going around killing everybody.
Yep.
So go ahead.
So they have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide where they're going to go, what they're going to do. They have everything ready to go. So they all put their hands in.
Yes.
And they all have their hands, and then Little Rocket has his little
paw. Little paw, I know, it's so funny.
Down there, and all theirs are 5,000 meters above.
It was great. It was so cute.
Yeah.
And then they all go where they need to go. And they're working on retrieving the stones, and it was really cool because 3 of them were in New York at the same time, which happened to coincide with events that happened in the first Avengers movie during the Battle of New York.
Right.
Which was pretty cool to see that again, briefly.
Oh, I love Hulk smash, where they're like, "Oh, you better smash some things," and so he just like so haphazardly, yeah, he's just like, "Oh, smash this,
smash
this."
Oh.
It's almost like
dead in the taxi.
Yeah.
it's so sad.
You can still open the door. I mean, it's fine. It's okay.
Oh boy. Yeah. So that happened.
Yeah.
So then and then they talk about America's ass, Captain America.
Okay, let's not talk about that.
So they talked about how, of course, with all the different Captain America movies, he's had different uniforms or suits or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
And apparently the one from the first Avengers movie made his butt look weird. I don't know, whatever.
I feel like that was an inside joke with the cast.
His butt really showed.
Yeah, so I guess...
And then he's fighting himself, and then he tesseracts himself, and then he falls over, and then he's like, that is America's ass.
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, Iron Man made a comment. Was it Iron Man that said that?
Yeah, he's like,
it doesn't do anything for your butt. And then Captain America goes, oh, that's America's ass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the thing.
And then Loki escapes with the Tesseract.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that because we were talking about the people that are gone and the people that are not gone. And I know when Infinity War came out, they were adamant, the directors were adamant, Loki is dead. They were like, that wasn't one of his doubles, or he didn't have any tricks or anything, he gets dead. And so, like you just pointed out, he manages to get they're all fighting, and he's just kind of like, okay, I'll just grab this, and whoop, and he's gone. And so now Loki is apparently not dead.
Yes.
Somehow.
Soon.
But see, that's the thing that I didn't understand with this whole time travel stuff. Again, the Mobius strip thing that he had, the thing that kept the loop from being interfered with. So is Loki actually not dead? Or is there another Loki? Kind of like how there's going to be like another Gamora now, because there's this Gamora that never went down this path to be with the Guardians. So it's like the first Guardians movies never happened with Gamora. It's so weird.
It is very weird.
God.
Their timeline is confusing. Just do Back to the Future time.
Just
do Back to the Future rules. It's less confusing.
So they retrieve what they need to retrieve, and there's a bunch of cool stuff that happens.
Yes.
They get all the stones, and then and then we flash to Morag.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really funny because they're watching Star-Lord, and he's doing his little dance while he's listening to his Walkman, and they're watching it from the outside, and he looks so funny because you can't hear the music.
Yes, you just hear him singing. It is really funny.
And the War Machine is just like, oh, he's an idiot.
He's like, really, this is the god. This is the god that kills another god.
Careful.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, yeah. So
well, he did it on a dance-off. Don't forget.
Yes, he did. So they retrieve the stone they need for Morag, but then something weird happens with Nebula.
Yes.
Because remember, Nebula is now in the past with the second Nebula.
Right, and remember again, Nebula is a machine.
Yes.
She is a robot.
She records everything.
Yes.
And that's part of the problem with Nebula.
Yes. So what ends up happening is these two Nebulas get somehow connected. The old Nebula, the past Nebula?
The 2014 Nebula.
Yeah.
We'll call her that.
Betraying the whole team, which is really... So she ends up betraying everybody by revealing the plan because she's connected to the future Nebula.
Yeah.
And she broadcasts everything that's going on.
So Thanos and Gamora now know that these people from the future are trying to get the Infinity Stones. So then that clues Thanos in that, I did it. I got all these stones. So he kind of gets all their plans, and he decides he's going to obviously try to get there before them and get the jump on them and all that good stuff like a good villain does.
Right.
So, okay, now...
Which is pretty crazy.
Trying to think of what's happening now in the movie. So they get the stone.
Oh,
they get the Power
Asgard.
Stone. Yeah,
Thor
Asgard.
And Rocket
oh my
go to
God.
Asgard.
Yeah,
this is
I'm sorry,
crazy.
Fat Thor and Rocket go to Asgard.
Oh my God.
And Thor has a nice little moment with his mom.
Yeah, it was nice.
And then he completely leaves Rocket with his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
To get the reality stone, and then he gets it.
Yes.
By stabbing her with this little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the Asgardian guards are just casually chasing him down to kill him.
But then, doesn't somebody make a return?
Yes.
A certain character?
Loki?
No.
Oh, he's in the prison cell.
Mjolnir.
Oh yeah, the hammer.
Yep.
Yes.
So he gets his hammer back, which is super exciting.
Yay!
Yep.
Spoiler alert, there's going to be something with the hammer soon.
You stink like bananas.
Yeah, he's been eating his haichu, even though we haven't started eating our haichu yet, so he ruined that bit.
Goodness.
Bit killer! We're gonna call you Jason.
Oh, bit killer.
Jason Pennington, Jason Pizza, Bigfoot Pennington.
What?
In the making.
Oh my god.
11 years old and he's already killing bits,
You
Jason.
stink like fake bananas. Woo! Alright, so anyways, so they get the reality stone out of what's her face, Jane.
Oh, that's so
AKA
funny
Thor's
because
ex-wife. Girlfriend.
Yes.
yeah, well, it's so funny because Natalie Portman. I thought they were gonna do that bit where they say,
her.
"Oh, she's over there," and you never actually see her, but then you actually do see her. She rolls out of bed and
Gets paid $10,000.
Yeah.
10,000. She probably got like $2 million just to like roll. I wish I could get $2 million to roll out of bed.
It's like
nuts
you're rich.
and berries.
You're rich for just getting out of bed.
I mean, they listed her in the they gave her a picture
Yes.
in the cast
She got
credits.
a picture.
Yeah, it wasn't just like boop. It was like with her little picture and everything. The one scene she was in.
Yes.
Anyway, because she said she would never do another
Yes.
Marvel movie
That's what I read,
for some
but
reason.
whatever.
You just keep throwing money at people.
And
They're
they'll
like-
do it. They'll do it. Just pay them $5,000
Yeah.
to get out of bed.
Exactly.
There.
Exactly. If that's all they're saying is just just do this and you're gonna get like $2 million. Hell yeah.
Okay, so then we go to the terrible part. We go to where we have to get the Soul Stone.
Yeah. So now it's starting to get darker.
Yes.
The movie, the tone. It's
Yes.
definitely started. This is probably like the last hour or whatever. This is when it starts
we're
to get.
getting into the last
Yeah.
hour.
This is like don't go to pee anymore.
Yes.
It's like, do not even stand. Just don't even shout.
So
Say anything. Whisper.
Yeah.
So we go to Vormir,
Mm-hmm.
and as we remember from Infinity Wars, to get the Soul Stone, it requires a sacrifice. And who went to Vormir but Hawkeye and Black Widow?
The two lovers.
No, they're not lovers.
They're not lovers.
They were best friends.
Yeah, best friends.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. They have a very special partnership.
What happens is very sad. I don't know, do we want
They
to
like
say
fight.
it?
They fight over who's going to do it.
Yeah.
They fight over who's going to sacrifice themselves. And like I said, what happens if you actually, I do know this from the comics, but if you show up at Vormir alone, it'll just bring whoever you love there. But that's what happens. So like if you went there alone, it would just be like and like material because it's Infinity Stone, so it can do that kind of stuff.
Wow.
But
So you can't even trick it.
no, I was gonna say you couldn't be like, well, I'm alone. Just give me the stone, guy. Or I'd be like, Red Skull, I really love you. Throw him up. Nobody even thinks about that.
Hey, Red Skull.
Oh God, Red Skull, you're my guy, man. You know.
I've been thinking about you my whole life.
Also, it's so bad that nobody knows who. I kind of feel bad for Red Skull. Nobody knows who he is. Everybody that gets there, it's like all the people that get there don't know
Captain
any
America
clue.
was there. He would say Red Skull.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Oh, that's where you ended up. Yeah, nice place you got here." You know?
So, the Soul Stone got a sacrifice,
Yeah.
and the remaining Avenger leaves with the Soul Stone.
Yeah, well, we can say it. It's Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, everybody is listening has seen it or doesn't care.
So
Yeah,
we lost
just-
Black Widow, and that bothered me because I really like Black Widow.
And they made a very big point of if you die, you're dead.
Because Hulk tried to bring Black Widow
He
back with the reverse legendary snap, and he said he couldn't because
She was gone.
He tried to bring her back with what?
with the reverse legendary snap.
getting ahead.
Oh, yeah. You're getting
Alright,
way
so-
ahead, buddy.
So don't go ahead too
Not too
far.
much.
So
Yeah.
let's continue. We have almost all the stones, but remember we lost the Tesseract because Loki escaped with it. So
Yep.
we're missing the Tesseract
But then Captain America and Iron Man, they go back to another time, like way before New York happened.
Right, they
1970.
go back to the 70s
and then
in New Jersey.
Yeah, and then they take the Tesseract from containment and take some of like Hank's potion that allows them to time travel.
Wait, let's slow down a little bit because a lot of stuff happens here. First, I want to say this is where the article said to go pee, and I disagree with this.
Right.
Because I think a lot happened here, but I do think that this is the point of no return before the movie starts to really pick up and, get to the end. This is before the big, the last hour.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Whoever said to go pee during this moment is not a true Marvel fan because, as I found out...
This is big.
Yeah. Well, this is the first Stan Lee cameo where Stan Lee actually plays himself.
Yes.
And that was a big point. They were like...
Yes.
And obviously, it wasn't really him because I guess he's gone
They could have filmed it from
before
the past.
They could have filmed it. They could have filmed it before he passed away, but
Well,
it could have also been like the Carrie Fisher thing at the end of Rogue One and that kind of thing.
Captain Marvel, wasn't he rehearsing his lines for Mallrats?
Yeah.
So he was playing himself there.
That wasn't Oh. Then that article was wrong.
Yeah, that article was wrong.
It was a Yahoo News article.
Well,
hey, Yahoo News. Yahoo fake news.
Yeah, Yahoo's wrong.
Oh my God, that's right. Because I remember because Kevin Smith was like crying after he saw Captain Marvel because he didn't know about that.
Aww.
And he's like, I feel like I'm part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. And he was like really upset because, Yeah, that's right. He played himself because he was reading the script. Obviously.
He had Mallrats.
Yes.
Like Mallrats.
Yes, he had He's in Mallrats, by the way.
Yeah, you can watch that when you're
a couple years older.
Yeah, we'll have to.
It's not terrible.
Yeah. So, anyways, the big, huge part in this, one of the big, huge parts was, like you said, they did retrieve more Pym particles, which does aid in the whole time travel
thing.
And Tony runs into his father.
Yes, his Faja.
He runs into his Faja, and he's so verklempt. He can't think of a good name. So he's like, my name is Howard, which is his father's name.
And then his last name is the name of his wife. Potts.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, as somebody, former force protection guy here and OPSEC and all that other stuff, in 1970, if a guy was acting like that...
on a secure base?
Yeah, with his little briefcase and he was all... they would have called security in a heartbeat, so... I think it was that connection, like he said, that was like, I feel like I know you.
He kept saying that. I feel like I know you.
Yeah. Because I was like, man, I'd have been like, no. Mm-hmm. We're going to go ahead and let the MPs talk to you, because there's something wrong with you, boy.
Oh, yeah, and then there's another scene with Jarvis. Like, he's you see what he's like when he's human, not like a computer AI thingy.
Yes. We also saw Jarvis in the Peggy Carter series, whatever it was
Agent
called.
Carter.
Agent Carter, yes.
I have not seen that.
They stayed up all night thinking of the name.
Yeah, Agent Carter. And, what's his face?
Good old what's his face?
Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Oh, yeah, Captain America. What's his name? I don't know.
It's hard to forget people.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
America's Ass Man.
Yeah.
Went into Peggy Carter's office, and he was staring longingly at her.
Yeah.
I think that helped fuel his decision, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But, so they retrieved what they needed to from 1970s. I don't remember the exact year.
1970.
Oh, okay.
And they were making jokes about, like, that guy has a beard or something like that. Yeah, there was a guy and he had a beard, and they're like, oh, a beard, and they're like, oh, was it like a Bee Gees beard or some other guy beard?
Okay.
And I didn't know.
They get what they need, and then they go back to the present. Or the future, whatever you want to call it.
Back to the future?
They go back to the future.
That's what I said once I left the movie theater. So, and then they went back to the future.
Yes.
Yes, they did.
So then they have all the stones, and they create a new gauntlet.
With Iron Man's nanos.
Right, yes.
That's a big part of the film.
Yeah, Raphael has something to say about that at the end. He wants to talk about that at the end.
Yes.
Okay. So... then they argue over who's going to do the snap.
And then Hulk says, well, I should do it because it's mainly gamma radiation. And I'm gamma radiation. So I feel, he's like, I think I was built for this purpose.
Yeah. He kind of was. I mean, if you think about it, because, Yeah.
Thanos was the main man to be built for this.
Well, Thanos is like he's a Titan, I think is what he... Yeah, because he's from Titan. So he's like almost a god. Mm-hmm. Even it takes a giant toll for him even. So...
Because remember, he's like...
Well, what did it cost you? Everything. Exactly. So anyway, so now they have the glove, they have the gauntlet, and it looks like an Iron Man kind of glove. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
What I thought was interesting was that it like expanded based on, but it makes sense if it's nanotechnology, which you'll talk about at the end. Hulk brings everybody back
except for Black Widow because he can't.
Even though he tried.
Right, he did try.
He tries, but he can't.
So he does that. Meanwhile, we kind of missed the part.
Nebula.
Yeah, I feel like we missed Nebula.
She brought Thanos' ship. Yes. And then you know what they do?
Well, wait. She passed Nebula, went to Morag, and grabbed future Nebula.
And took her golden parts and put them on her face.
She swapped places with her.
She infiltrated the Avengers.
Yeah, she basically infiltrated
them.
Then
she brought Thanos to the other side, and then when Ant-Man walked outside and he saw the birds and the trees were green with leaves.
Yeah, he validated that the the unsnapping worked.
See, I didn't catch that with the birds.
Yeah, and then a giant missile just flies in.
Yeah,
like nothing happened.
They just get attacked.
They get bombarded. Really, it's like the most visceral bombardment I've seen in a movie in a long time.
It was really, really bad.
It's just like all of a sudden.
If you remember when in Iron Man 3 when the Mandarin attacks their house,
Malibu home. Yeah,
it's like 10 times more brutal. Thanos' ship pretty much
just annihilated it.
Shades the entire complex. It's so massive, and so then he decides. I mean, that's when they have their big battle at that moment, right?
Iron Man, Fat Thor, and Hulk just go at it with...
No, Captain America.
Captain America, thank you. Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man go at it with Thanos.
You keep forgetting Captain America.
I do. I don't know
Your sister
why.
is not going to be happy with that.
I know. She's going to be so mad.
She will be like, Hulk.
Okay, and so this was pretty amazing because... Okay, well, they're fighting with Thanos because he reveals himself from his ship, and they're fighting with him, and they try to, beat him. They try to stop him.
Of course.
Because they want to kill him because he's the bad guy.
And he kills like half humanity, so he kind of deserves it.
Yeah. The gauntlet is buried under rubble, but luckily Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Hawkeye is
there.
He grabs it.
Doesn't put on though.
No, he's not dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got it, and
then those
Hulk and Rocket are buried under rubble, and Ant-Man's trying to get to them.
And also Rhodey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rhodey's also there. War Machine.
My dad's least favorite.
Yes.
Yep.
So the rest of them are all buried under rubble. So the other three Avengers are up.
Just trying to beat Thanos.
Yes, so they're going for Thanos.
And then
something really, really amazing happens.
Go ahead and say it.
Before that, we have to explain the thing that's chasing why now Roan is like running.
Lean in.
Like why he's running. Like those creatures from Infinity
Wars.
Yes. Like they're killing themselves, getting to the force field.
Yes. And
then they're surrounding them.
Yeah. So Hawkeye Ronin is on the run with the gauntlet.
And these things are chasing him.
Nasty things that were in Infinity War, right? Those creature things are chasing him. So he's running, shooting the arrows, and running and shooting the arrows. So there's a lot going on right now. It's very chaotic.
It's a big battle scene is what's happening. It's about to get bigger.
Yes. So the most amazing thing happens. I don't remember how it happened because it was just so amazing, but...
Thor was getting his ass kicked. Pardon my French.
Oh yes, Fat Thor was getting his ass kicked, so all of a sudden Captain America comes to his rescue, and Captain America is wielding Mjolnir. And it was glorious.
And Thor says, I knew it!
And it was pretty amazing, and it was kind of like a shot of adrenaline for all of them.
Yeah, and it was interesting because at our theater, people were not... We went to a Boca screening, and people were just not into the movie as much as we were, obviously. Oh. And at that moment, we thought the place would go nuts.
I did.
You did. A few people did.
Yeah, at my movie theater, everyone was just crazy.
Yeah.
People are jumping out of their seats.
That's what I would have liked in ours too.
Usually I don't like when people are like talking, but I wouldn't have minded it for that.
Yeah, it's an event. It's an experience. It's an event. It's like a ride. Yes. This movie's like these two movies, really, Infinity War and Endgame, are really like different rides that you're on at an amusement park almost.
Yes.
And I was worried kind of that there would be too much slow stuff, and you even said this movie could almost be called Ghosts of the Past because they spend so much time reliving, or not reliving, but just encountering.
Yes.
Ghosts of the past, like literally.
Yes.
Many. I mean, Tony has his father, Thor has his mother.
Yes.
Cap has what he has at the end. So yeah.
And then Hulk encounters the teacher, Doctor Strange, but that isn't really like mainly like known to him.
Oh, you mean the Sorcerer Supreme? Yeah, ancient one. Yeah, true.
So that was pretty amazing. So they're all fighting, and Cap is just going at it with Mjolnir, and then Thor's got Stormbreaker, and at one point Cap picks up Stormbreaker, and then Thor's like, "That's mine."
Yeah, he's like, "You can have Mjolnir. I want Stormbreaker." I was like, "What just happened there?"
So that part was really, really awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so they're fighting, and they're getting wiped out because they couldn't bring down Thanos because he had his big old weapon,
his vibranium sword.
Yes, vibranium sword. He has all this armor. So I kept thinking, well, first they need to get the weapon away from him, and then they need to take out his armor. But they weren't coordinated enough.
Yeah, they like in Avengers.
Yeah.
They don't have a plan.
They
like
didn't have
Iron Man says, "I have a plan. Attack."
I wanna talk about this part because this is a big part to me. I'm thinking Captain America's about to die here.
Yes.
Because he breaks his shield.
Yes.
He's getting his, and in the comics, Captain America dies, and then Falcon becomes Captain America. That's like known to a lot of people, I guess. Either dies or what, I don't know. So I was really worried that this was it. And he gets up, and I'm like, oh, he's about to say, "I can do this all day," and then Thanos is like gonna kill him, and I'm gonna lose it. But instead, what happens is he stands up, and all of a sudden, all these portals open up, and this portal opens up, and what is it? It's Falcon, and he says, "On your left." I loved it. I was like, yes! I went nuts more than probably anybody else in the theater at that part, for sure, because I was just like, that's awesome. Because I was expecting, like, this is it, and then, so they all show up, and of course, when Spider-Man shows up on the scene, everybody went nuts at even our dumb theater.
Spider-Man is awesome. If you do not like Spider-Man.
And Black Panther.
Yeah, then
everyone went crazy for him too.
You just need to rewatch every Spider-Man, every Black Panther movie.
But I think the person that came in kicking the most ass, personally, was
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, yes. Scarlet Witch, Wanda. Which pisses me off. They never get to call her Scarlet. It must be some lawyer thing. But they call her Wanda. It's just like, oh, Wanda.
Why?
Whatever.
Just call her by a true name.
Scarlet Witch?
Yes.
She was born Scarlet Witch, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, and she never gets to wear that cool, like, I love her mask in the comics. She never gets to wear them.
From the original. It's like, it's so awesome. And then they, like, take it away, and then they give her boots, and they give her, like, a leather jacket that's red.
Yes.
Instead of, like, her suit is red.
Yeah.
She's just wearing a leather jacket that's red.
So that was one of my favorite parts. So go ahead and...
Doctor Strange and the other guy, his friend.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Benedict Wong. I don't know. I know the actor's name.
His name is Wong.
Yeah, Wong.
Well, the actor's name is Benedict Wong.
But I think the character's name is Wong too, right?
Yeah, his name is Wong.
You might be right. You might be Wong.
Oh my god.
Dad joke. I am a dad.
Sans, you
Ladies
are
and gentlemen.
Sans. If you know what Underkill is, you will know what I am talking about.
I don't. So anyway, go on.
Okay, so they're opening all these portals and bringing everybody back, and Spider-Man and Iron Man have a little moment where Spider-Man says, "We just turned to dust, and then we were in this place, and then 5 minutes later we were back here," or something like that, right?
Like we were blacked out.
Yeah, we were blacked out, and then all of a sudden we were back here.
And then,
right. It's 5 years later.
That weird wizard guy said, "Oh, hey, dude, we've been here for 5 years. We gotta go." And then he was doing that weird sparking thing that he always does with his fingers.
Yeah.
You almost sounded exactly like him.
Exactly. So then that's kind of like all the explanation we got, basically, as to where they were.
Yeah, they're on Titan.
Well, it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because remember they were like, on Titan when they perished. So when they came
that's
back,
where they would come back to. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're all different places. That's why they had to
open the time portal.
No, they had to.
Oh, yes. Okay, so yes.
Think about it.
So yeah, so then
what's the word?
Then the part that brought tears to my eyes. I don't know who else, but whatever. When Cap says, "Avengers assemble," and then they all just went to town. Oh, we forgot to mention Thanos brought reinforcements.
Yeah, he brought his whole army.
His son.
Maw is back. Maw is back because that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because he undid that, obviously. And the dark elf looking monster woman and man are back.
And I think he brought
he brought that big giant
Chitauri.
guy with the hammer. Yeah, the Chitauri. They're kind of like paper people, like Drax is. Oh, Drax was back? Yes!
The Guardians are back.
Guardians.
Valkyrie and the Valkyries.
Oh,
and,
man.
all
the
of them.
only person who wasn't back was Vision and Loki.
Yeah.
Yep.
They assembled, and they kicked some butt.
They kicked a lot of booty.
At some point, the tide is turning badly, and Iron Man turns to Doctor Strange and says, "Is this the one that we went in?" And he says, "This is the one." And he's like, "Well, what's going to happen?" He says, "If I tell you what's going to happen, it won't happen." And then,
like, nearing when it happens, he points his finger up. He points one finger up and looks at Iron Man, and he just shakes it.
like, this is the one. This is the moment.
This is the one way. And then he, knows he's got to,
sacrifice
die.
himself,
Yeah.
right? So now, again, he goes up to Thanos, and then what happens?
He punches him for a quick second, and then Thanos is like, I expected more. And he snaps his fingers, and then he looks at the thing, and then he realizes there's no stones on it. And then he sees the stones, they're on Iron Man's arm that he punched him with.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how he did that?
I didn't, but you told me.
Yeah, nanotechnology.
That makes sense.
Because his two things are nanites.
That
so
makes
they
sense.
could, so he told the nanites to switch them to each other. And then he,
because Tony created both of them.
Yeah. He legendary snapped Thanos' forces away.
And
So
what did he
first
say? What did he say when he did it? You remember?
No, not really.
Well, Thanos said, "I am inevitable."
Right, and then he said, I am
inevitable.
Iron
Man.
And then he snaps.
And then, Thanos sees all his forces perish before him.
Well, they dusted, just like everybody else
just like
did.
they had happened to them.
Die.
Yeah.
And then, he turns to dust.
Yep.
Yes. And the movie ends. Not quite.
Because...
Well, wait, can we just talk about one thing that was really perturbing me? Okay, so...
Well, I do have a moment where we're going to talk about favorites and least favorites and stuff like that.
Yes, but there was something about the battle scene that was perturbing me.
Go ahead.
So, Hawkeye has the gauntlet, and the gauntlet somehow makes it out onto the battlefield, and they're tossing it between them, and it was really bothering me because none of them had a knapsack or a purse they could put it in. They're running around holding the gauntlet.
They're a little busy.
Well,
they don't have time.
They don't have time to go to the store and say, "Hey, I need a purse or a duffel
None
bag."
of their uniforms or anything consists
Sure,
of
they're
a
just gonna put
backpack
it-
or a purse
they're just gonna
or a book bag or
Sure.
something.
You know why that's wrong? You know why that's bad? If they put it in a backpack, someone could just rip off the straps.
Rip the straps.
And then
I'd rather have the control in my hands personally. But the thing that bothered me is that why didn't Doctor Strange just go portal it, boop boop, portal it to the van and just get it in? Because remember that was the point. They had to get it into that van, the quantum realm portal thing.
Well, then that would defy one of the one ways.
What?
The only way. Remember,
the
one
only way was for Tony.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Because if they poured it through there,
that's right. He looked at
Thanos
14 million.
Thanos can go through
different
the portal.
By the way, there have to be some really good jokes with that. I watched 14 million versions of something like a meme. There's definitely a meme of
I watched 14 million versions of the Spy, and only one do we.
That's what I feel like sometimes when I'm in a meeting at work. Am I in one of these time loops and I have to sit in another one of these meetings?
Yep.
Oh my god. Anyway, so I think now we're at the end of the movie, but Iron Man has died because when he snapped his fingers, the gamma radiation was too much for him and it overpowered him and it killed him. He did have one last kind of moment to realize that they won. but it was the ultimate sacrifice. I think Pepper Potts comes up and like kisses him goodbye and stuff like that.
And once she kisses him, he dies.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
Wait, but in theory, with the Infinity Gauntlet, couldn't you just like snap yourself to where you're healed and then take it off?
I don't think it works that way.
That's what they were saying, that you couldn't bring people back from this timeline.
No, I'm talking about couldn't he just like heal himself by snapping?
Yeah, the whole thing with the Infinity Gauntlet is, I think it's one of these one-use weapons. Like, you really only get to use it ultimately like that once. Yeah,
okay, well, also, we forgot to tell the scene where Nebula kills her past self.
Yeah, and then she doesn't die
She doesn't die. Current. It's like, what is going on? What? This does not follow physics. If you're dead in the past, you're dead in the future.
Well, time travel isn't real, so unless, well, it might be, but...
Well, this version of time travel is very different than any other version of time travel I've ever studied.
You've studied time travel, have you?
Yes, I've watched Back to the Future many times.
I watched Back to the Future 147 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time, is what you're saying?
Exactly.
And also Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes. Yeah, Hot Tub. Yeah. Let me write a paper for my professor about the Hot Tub Time Machine. Actually, there is one movie that a lot of nerds admit is the most likely, logical, factual way of time travel to work, and it's this really super boring movie called Primer, which was almost unwatchable. But they said if you want to know what time travel might look like, it's this boring movie Primer. So, shout out to the boring movie Primer for being the most...
likely for time travel.
Yeah, there you go. So, I'm not watching that movie again. Anyway, so now what else? So, Iron Man is gone. Black Widow is gone.
Vision is gone.
Vision is gone because Vision was the Mind Stone. He was part of the Mind Stone. And they didn't...
and then they took the Tesseract before he was made, so Ultron couldn't get the Tesseract and crush the stone.
Right.
And to get the Mind Stone and put it inside the little him.
Right, and Shuri was trying to get it to where Vision would be able to live without the Mind Stone, but they got... to finish. Yeah, she wasn't fast enough, like Flash. Anyway.
Wrong.
I know, wrong universe, whatever. I'm allowed to pick on DC a little bit.
Are you, Dad?
Yes.
Are you?
So now there's a funeral for Tony.
Yes, and it's very sad because a lot of people are there.
Like, a lot of people that have not been in any of the movies for a while, and some, like, everybody that has ever been pretty much in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie was there. I need to
Except for Stanley.
Well, Stan Lee is
passed on.
Well, he's not.
In spirits.
He's not really. It's interesting because they had one of his cameos where he was hanging out with the Watchers.
Yes.
Now the Watchers in the comics, if you're not familiar with the comics, I know you aren't. I don't think you are that much.
No, not real.
But the Watchers are basically like these omnipresent, godlike creatures that just watch what happens, essentially. They become like the universal narrators for a lot of the comics. And it becomes kind of a writing device that they can use to whatever. But there's a scene, one of the end scenes, where Stan Lee is talking about how he was different versions of himself, I guess.
It was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I believe.
Yeah, and he's hanging out with the Watchers and he's talking to them. Mm-hmm. So if you believe in the Watchers, then Stan Lee isn't really dead. I'm just saying.
Alright, so they're at the funeral.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of different characters there.
Yeah.
And it's...
Well, you can talk about the kid because I'm like, who's that kid? And you...
So there's a random kid there.
Random kid.
Nobody knows who this random kid is, and it turns out it's the kid from Iron Man 3. The kid that was in the garage where Iron Man was trying to fix his suit.
Yes.
I gave him the watch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the one whose dad ran away, and he's like, don't be such a wimp about it, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, nice, Tony.
Yeah. That was the same actor, same character that was at the funeral.
Okay.
Yeah, because he gave him the watch. He was like a father figure, kind of. So.
Is he like a Russo kid or something? Is he like a cast member kid or something like that?
Nope.
Oh, we gotta talk about cameos, or not cameo. Well, you said there was a director. One of the directors was...
We talked about that already.
Was a cameo. Were there any other... I didn't see anything in the production notes about that. I did see that they were, again, they chose those Avengers, the core Avengers, to not be snapped out of existence. Because I always thought, well, if I'm Thanos, I'm snapping those guys out of existence immediately because they're the biggest threat to me.
Well, he might not have had a choice when he did the legendary
That's
snap.
true.
Like, maybe when he did the legendary snap, he didn't know he was gonna kill.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he might not have picked.
No,
Yeah.
he did, because he flat out said, I realized the mistake I made. He said, I wanted you to see that you failed. He's like, I should have, instead of getting rid of the people that you loved, I should have gotten rid of you because you're the biggest threat to me. He said, I will make sure I don't make that same mistake in the future.
No, he said that he was just gonna wipe them all out.
Yeah, he's going to wipe everybody out. Remember?
Oh, maybe he just meant that in general.
Yeah.
No, he meant them because they were the biggest threat. And that's why I always thought, well, why would Thanos do that? Because that's what the writers wanted to do. Because they wanted them to experience that loss and feel it as the core characters, because they're the core characters throughout the MCU, and it would have the biggest impact. Like, we were talking about Infinity War, but that's why he did that.
Mm-hmm.
And and it made sense too, because in Endgame, you wouldn't even have an Endgame if he got rid of them. Ant-Man would be all alone with this little theory about, oh, I could do this, but nobody would be around to help him.
Nope.
They'd all be gone. It'd all be a bunch of dummies. Like Idiocracy. You put this one in your nose, and you put this one in your butt. Oh, wait, no, I mean, you put this one in your... Yeah, it'd be like that, like Dax Shepard. I like money, that kind of thing. So, yeah. So Thanos, he got his butt kicked in this one. Thank God. Yeah, and I feel that the most tragic character in this is Nebula.
Yes.
Because poor past Nebula, even though she's bad, she's basically being shown that she's going to betray her father.
Yes.
And murder him, and and she's like, I swear to God, I'll never do this. And he's like, I'm looking at it. It's showing me you're going to do that. And she's like, no, I'd never do that. And he's like, well, you better figure out how to make this right. And then so she goes and she tries to make it right, and she gets killed by her future self.
Yes.
So, I mean, it just stinks to be Nebula in this one.
Yep.
But I liked, though, that they didn't make her, like, so wishy-washy, like Jane Foster, like, no, okay. Like, I'm going to help you now. I was like, I would have been pissed if they made 2014 Nebula all of a sudden chill. Because it took a while for her to get
chill
where she is now.
Yep.
She was, like, all crazy to kill Gamora, like,
oh, God,
killing Gamora was her mission.
Like, about 2/3 of the way through Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, she was trying to kill Gamora.
Yeah, I mean, she tries to crash a ship in her in that one scene. That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, where she's sitting there with the cow lily or whatever it is, the flower, and it's like making that noise, and she's getting pissed, and she chops it off, and then all of a sudden you just see this giant ship coming to kill her, and it's her sister. Screaming with rage. I mean, that's rage. So let's talk about Gamora. Gamora's not at the funeral.
No,
Where's Gamora?
Where's Gamora?
Where's Gamora?
Who is Gamora?
I'll do it better. What is Gamora? Nice callback there. To Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
No.
Oh, it's
Infinity War.
Infinity War, that's right, yeah. Well, we watched so many movies leading up to Endgame. It's like one giant movie in my head, which is awesome.
It's like 5,000 movies.
We only watched 10.
So I need to say this, talking about that. It's been like 10 years of movies.
Yes.
And that's it. Like, there's still going to be some things.
But not any, like, big ones.
There'll never be another Avengers movie, though.
Unless there's, like, a new Avengers. Like,
they
know
could.
That one we saw?
Yeah, the next Avengers, which it was their kids.
Yeah.
That we saw
and all the parents
on Netflix.
died except for Hulk. It was sad. Ultron killed them all.
Yeah, this is when he was much younger, when Raphael was much younger, and I was watching Netflix, and I saw something that said Next Avengers, and I thought, oh, that's cool, it's their kids. It had, like, Thor's daughter, and Tony Stark's son, and different
Captain America's son.
different people. Oh. But, as soon as we turn it on, everybody's dead.
Except for the children, and the Hulk.
Yeah, Ultron has killed all of humanity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is a great family... It was a cartoon, too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my God.
Gosh. Alrighty then.
And then
We started
like,
watching
giant
that.
robots and the parents to kill them.
So the whole time I'm watching Age of Ultron, I'm thinking of that. Like, oh
Yeah,
man,
so
this
was
is how
I.
bad things could get. Like, he really does want to wipe out all of humanity.
Yeah, it's like he really shows it when you see that he kills his own creator.
Yeah, you see that he does it too. So anyway, so I just want to talk about how
He beat the Hulk.
there is some, what do you call it? There is some light at the end of the tunnel because Disney Plus is going to be releasing, and I'll let you talk about that because you brought that up tonight. I mean, talking about Star Wars, we know about The Mandalorian, and so we're definitely getting Disney Plus. That's like a definite. We're getting that.
Have to have it.
But you said there's going to be a Loki series.
Oh, yeah.
Loki.
All about Loki.
So Loki gets, obviously he isn't dead because he managed to escape with the Tesseract, as you pointed out. But there's going to be another series that I didn't know about until tonight that you told me about.
Yep, WandaVision.
So if it, I like how you say that like it's like, like the 50s, like Gamma Vision. It's like WandaVision. Is it Wanda and Vision?
No, this is how you're supposed to say it. WandaVision.
One word.
Uh-huh.
WandaVision. TV series spin-off from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, containing the characters Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, and the Vision. Plot is unknown at this time.
Who's listed as the cast?
Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen.
All right. Any Jennifer Connelly in there?
Nope.
Right, Jennifer Connelly wasn't Friday. She was the voice of Spider-Man. She's Suit Lady in Spider-Man. So the reason I ask is because Paul Bettany is married to Jennifer Connelly, so I thought that'd be interesting if they were all in the same movie together. Anyway.
And then there's also Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, that's what you were talking about, because you said that Bucky was going to be...
With Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan.
Oh, but is he going to be Falcon or Captain America?
It says Falcon.
I guess he's gonna be Falcon with Captain America's shield.
Well, okay, okay. Now we can talk about the end. So, one of the deals that the Hulk made with the Ancient One, Sorcerer Supreme or whatever, was that he would return all the stones back to when they took them if it was successful. That way, it would keep her universe timeline, her reality in check. So Captain America goes to do that. He's like, Hulk is like, it'll be like 10 years or whatever to you, but it'll be 5 seconds to us. And he counts down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you don't see Captain America, and you're just like, ooh, either he died or...
something bad happened.
So what happens, Madison?
So all of a sudden, either Falcon or Bucky, I don't remember who, sees an old man sitting on a bench.
I think it was Falcon.
Next to them.
It's Bucky.
Oh, well,
one of
them.
So Falcon goes over and sits down next to the old man, who turns out to be
none other but old Captain America.
Yep.
He lives his life.
Good old
So
Steve.
when he went back to the 40s,
Yep.
he stayed there.
Yep, 1945. They showed a little house.
And he was dancing with Peggy. And he finally got his dance with Peggy.
And your sister cried and cried and cried and cried.
She didn't say she did that, so don't put that rumor out there.
Hey, don't put that rumor out there, Dad. You didn't confirm with her.
I'll bet you she did.
You'll bet.
I don't know.
You don't know.
We'll ask her next time we see her.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. So Cap never time traveled back. He just lived out his life because he just was done with it all and he wanted to be happy. So he finally got to be happy with his Peggy.
Well, he said he followed the advice of a friend. He said if you have a chance to do it, do it. And he did.
Yep.
Falcon, I think, said that.
So, but he also gives Falcon his shield, which is a
Yes,
big part because, again, Sam is supposed to become Captain America 2. Captain America number 2.
Yes.
And in comics, they do this a lot, where they have,
They
this,
pass it on.
and it's 2 and 3, and like I talked about, well, I can't talk about that with Captain Marvel, but Captain Marvel, there's going to be another iteration of Captain Marvel, because in the comics, it's a different, so, anyway. So, let's talk about, we'll wrap it up here, we'll talk about our favorite scene. So, my favorite scene, of course, is Hail Hydra, because I got so bent out of shape, and my friend Curtis, from one of the radio stations that we know from the screenings, when the Hail Hydra comic cover came out with Captain America saying that on the cover, I lost my mind. And he was like, look, Rick, it's just comics. They do things like this. There's probably some reason that it's happening. I'm like, I don't care. You don't mess with Captain America, right? But then they did this in the movie where they made it make sense that he would say that, and it was brilliant, and I was just like, that was so awesome.
It was very cool.
It was really cool. That was my favorite part of the movie when he did that. I actually went, yeah! And people looked at me, and I was like, I don't even care. Look at me. I don't care. Look at me. Boca. Anyway, that was my favorite part. What was your favorite part, Madison?
I liked when Captain America was using Mjolnir.
Yeah, when he got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was cool.
It was very unexpected and cool.
Well, it makes sense, too, because who's to say Captain America isn't worthy enough to wield a hammer?
He lifted it in Age of Ultron.
It moved, and you saw Thor go, oh crap.
It was so funny, and then he got all relieved. He was like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, whew, I'm still the only one. Yeah, it's just, it isn't that he just wanted to be the only one, you know? It's like, it's special. It makes it special.
What was even better was how happy Thor was that Captain America was using it. So it was, it was great all around.
And then he's like, no, give me that. He wanted Stormbreaker.
Yes.
Because Stormbreaker literally is a part of him.
Yes.
You think about it.
Yes.
He made it.
Yes. And it's also Groot.
Yes.
It's also part of Groot.
Yes.
Tree. The tree.
That tree.
All right.
Sweet rabbit.
Oh, I love it. Oh, Build-A-Bear. Build-A-Bear was probably a really good line, too, where he's like, oh, that Build-A-Bear talks, or whatever. He said something like that.
I thought you were Build-A-Bear when Tony first met Rocket.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, my favorite scene was with, when Iron Man did the legendary snap to kill Thanos. Like, I am Iron Man.
That was your favorite scene?
Yeah.
Or I'll give you my least favorite scene. My least favorite scene was Pepper Potts flying around in the Iron Man armor, because I didn't mind her like flying around, but when she was like fighting and stuff, it kind of felt forced to me. Because that might be your least favorite scene. I'll let you say that one. If not, I'll come back to it. But the where she's like battling, I didn't mind her like picking up Peter Parker and helping with that kind of stuff, flying around and stuff, but it's like, where does she learn how to fight? Did they ever establish that Pepper Potts can fight?
Yeah.
When?
Well, at the end of Iron Man 3, she grabs the repulsor thing and shoots him, but is that really fighting?
Yes.
Because
she shot something out of like an Iron Man suit, so she knows how to use it.
I get that.
Anyone could use that.
The flying and... Dude, do you know how hard remember how hard it was for Tony? He's like...
I know, but she's in an open space. Remember, she was like struggling when she came through the portal?
I'll give it this. It has been 5 years. Maybe she learned how to fly around in the suit. I don't know. That was my least favorite part, because it just felt kind of forced to me. So what about you, Madison? What was your least favorite part? We'll come back to you.
Yeah, I'll come back to me.
Raphael, what was your least favorite part?
Fat Thor, and this part with New Master 2056.
Noob Master 2056?
Yeah, that's the guy in Fortnite where it's like, hey, that guy's back. That murderer's back. And he's like, and then Fat Thor's like, which one? New Master 2076. Here, give me. New Master 2056. If you do not stop, I will fly over to your house, go into that basement you are hiding in, and I will rip off your arms and shove them in your butt. Oh yeah, that's right. Go complain to your dad. Here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, my son. So, wait. Why didn't you like that scene?
Because he's like fat. He's like the god of fat now. He's
God.
How can you be the god of lightning when you're fat? You're like the god of fatness.
Well, really, he was a drunk, is my thing. They really established that.
And I also don't like Fortnite. Take it, people. Take it.
Oh, dang. Alright, so that was his
You don't like Fortnite?
He doesn't like Fortnite.
I do not like Fortnite!
He plays a lot of other games, but Fortnite is apparently not one that he likes. I haven't played it.
The only time I play it is when I'm playing with my friend Gabe because he loves it, and I just play it because he loves it.
Yeah. What about you, Madison? You got to come up with something, your least favorite scene.
I would have to say when Pepper Potts is flying around in the suit, because it was just annoying.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the girl power scene. That's what I was going to come back
annoying.
To. Just because it was so...
It was so shoved down your
ridiculous. It was like...
Some people's least favorite scene was Iron Man dying.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, but...
But he sacrificed for the greater good.
Yeah, when they're all... And it was so obvious. It was like, come on.
Yeah, with the girl power scene.
Yeah, that was
well, they did it in Black Panther, and I didn't mind it. I didn't even notice it that much in Black Panther, but in this...
You mean Infinity War?
Yeah, in Infinity War. I'm thinking Black Panther because it was...
They were in Wakanda.
They were Wakanda, yeah. Sorry. Yes, Infinity War. Like I said, it's all one giant movie.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, but it was just too many of them. It was just kind of like they were all lined up in this neat little... And I was like, okay, that's fine. Whatever. Yeah. Have your moment.
Yeah.
Got no problem with that.
Whatever.
So, now what about biggest surprises? What was your biggest surprise in the movie, Madison?
Well, there were two surprises that were funny for me. Was the reveal of Husky Fat Thor.
Yeah. And
the reveal of Smart Hulk. I didn't expect either of those.
Ah, Smart Hulk, yes. Smart Hulk was good. What about you, Raphael? What was your biggest surprise?
I'm thinking, so you go.
Oh, you want me to go? I think my biggest surprise was actually Natalie Portman being in the movie. I was very shocked by that. I was like, wow, Natalie Portman is in this movie. I am shocked. I thought they were going to CGI her or something to that effect, but they did not. Also, I think the fact that Iron Man died, I think, was a big surprise to me, because I really thought it would be Captain America.
Yeah.
Did everybody?
Yeah, because we had all heard that Chris Evans was not going to be coming back for any more MCU movies, so we all thought that he would be the one to go.
Well, what about Robert Downey Jr.? Has he made that statement or whatever?
I had heard that he was going to be making a new contract.
Really?
So very confusing.
Ooh, exciting.
I could have heard wrong, but I don't know.
It's, I read the production notes today when we got back. They basically said without Robert Downey Jr., you wouldn't have this. You wouldn't have the Avengers.
No, he started it.
And they said that getting him was the biggest part of making this a reality, because it showed the level of commitment that they were willing to put into these movies. And, Robert Downey Jr. was telling them from the get-go that this is what he wanted to do. They wanted to make all these crazy events. I remember when before Avengers came out, people were like, you can't do this. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it.
I didn't think they would be able to.
But as they grew with more and more people and the cast just got... I mean, you got Michael Douglas. You got some pretty big people involved with you got Michelle Pfeiffer. I remember when I heard Michelle Pfeiffer was going to be in this series. I was like, Michelle Pfeiffer? Really? It's kind of awesome. I mean, these are people that they don't need the money anymore. So that tells me that they believe in
Avengers.
Well, maybe I think they just believe in the process of putting something good out in the world. And I don't mean good in the sense of like morally good. I mean good like really good quality entertainment. And that's what movies are, really. Movies are supposed to be an escape, and I got to tell you, it's going to be hard after this. And we talked about how 2019 is going to be the year that everything is gone. We have Game of Thrones tomorrow night, and that's it. Game of Thrones is over after this year.
Yesterday was
episodes.
Avengers is over. And Star Wars, the Skywalker saga is over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you talk about Star Wars since 1977. That's been around.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother podcast. But so we did this thing. We went to Murakami Japanese Gardens here in South Florida. Today, we like to do Pokemon hunting, so we did some Pokemon hunting.
Keep in mind, just get some Pokemon.
Oh,
you just gotta catch them all.
And we saw something very disturbing.
Oh well, do you want to talk about that?
I want to say it.
Go ahead.
So we helped in a bird fish killing.
Not really.
Well, we distracted the fish, and then the bird ate the scrumptious little fish.
We were feeding.
We were feeding the fish, and then Then my dad saw what looked like a duck underwater, and then he realized it wasn't a duck. He realized it was a fish hunter. So, and then as soon as I threw the food, a fish wants to grab the food, and as soon as he was going to the food, the little bird just grabbed him.
He attacked him with he snapped his neck like a bullet. It was like, and he got the fish and he took it out of the water. He started walking it over to the land.
The fish was flapping.
And then he ate it whole. He ate it alive.
Swallowed it.
He swallowed it whole. You could see it flapping inside of his mouth.
Yeah, it was like a real Jurassic Park moment for us today.
Yeah.
It was real exciting.
A little disturbing.
What was I going to say? So we were there, and we were going to do this thing where we ate our haichu from there, because neither of us had haichu before. Have you ever had haichu?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you had.
I have haichu all the time.
Well, then it's not really that much of a bit.
But I've never had mango.
I never had grape.
I never had banana.
So it's not that exciting. So we like to say thank you, everybody. We are going to go back to the he pick and the she pick format, and we did watch our movie, and I'll tell you now what the movie is, because nobody even got close to guessing it. My he pick movie that we've watched, but we still haven't recorded yet, our episode, is The Color of Night, which is a 1990s movie. Most people don't even know that it even exists, but it's one of these movies that I try to have all my friends watch it, because it's such a weird movie. Anyway, so we'll be doing that one next. We'll be back on the he pick and the she pick, and Madison already has her she pick lined up, so we'll be doing that. That'll be the next episode, and we'll do our word of the word of the day, and on this day in history, and we'll do all of our little bits and things like that. Maybe we'll do another mystery snack that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now and say thank you very much for listening to us, and we do hope that you'll subscribe on iTunes.
And also hit that bell icon so you never miss a new episode.
Don't listen to him. Don't ever hit the bell icon. I don't know what that means.
That it alerts you when there's a new episode.
That's only on YouTube, and nobody watches us on YouTube because we're not video people. It's all just audio.
You don't want to watch videos of us.
Well, still, there's people that watch you. I guarantee you.
Oh, that's disturbing. So hit the bell. Apparently, ding.
You alert for every new episode of Film Grouch.
The Film Grouch Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are signing off.
All right. Everybody say goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right, bye there.
Bye.
See you next time.
Excelsior.